There are moments when the world grows strangely quiet, not because life becomes peaceful, but because your soul becomes tired of explaining its invisible battles. In those hours, when the noise fades and the ceiling above your bed becomes the witness to thoughts too heavy to carry aloud, something ancient begins moving softly through the silence, not to interrupt your pain, but to sit beside it until your breathing remembers how to soften again. The weight you have carried has changed the way you walk through ordinary days, turning simple mornings into mountains and familiar places into spaces that no longer feel the same. Still, beneath every disappointment, beneath every unfinished dream and delayed season, there remains a quiet ember refusing to disappear, glowing beneath the ashes of exhaustion with a patience that has outlived many storms. You learned how to smile while grieving versions of yourself that never arrived, and you mastered surviving seasons that looked impossible from the beginning. The world often celebrates loud victories, yet the deepest courage has always belonged to those who quietly continue, even while carrying invisible winters inside their hearts. Tonight is not arriving with fireworks or grand announcements, because healing rarely enters through dramatic doors. It arrives quietly, rearranging the furniture inside your spirit one memory at a time until the room within you begins feeling like home again. Type Amen if this message found you at the right moment. There was a season when you believed rest would come after everything was fixed, after every answer arrived, after every broken piece returned to its original place. Life taught something different, showing that peace sometimes visits unfinished places first, sitting gently among scattered pieces while teaching them how to belong together. You were never meant to become stone in order to survive difficult seasons. Every tear you hid, every moment you stayed silent to protect others, every time you carried responsibilities heavier than your strength, those moments shaped valleys within you where compassion now quietly lives. Some people misunderstood your silence as distance when it was actually survival. Some seasons demanded so much strength from you that softness felt dangerous, yet the part of you that still notices sunsets, still pauses at kind words, still hopes quietly before sleeping, that part remained untouched. My beloved child, there are chapters within your life that seemed empty only because their meaning had not fully arrived yet. Seeds underground always appear invisible before they become undeniable, and many things growing within you have been developing roots beyond what tired eyes could recognize. Comment 333 if you are still choosing hope. The nights became teachers you never asked for, showing how loneliness stretches time and how uncertainty changes the sound of your own thoughts. Yet those same nights quietly built resilience inside you, layering strength where you once believed only weakness existed. You survived days that deserved witnesses and celebrations, yet you walked through them unnoticed, carrying your own heart with trembling hands. Hidden victories remain victories, and quiet endurance remains one of the rarest forms of courage this world will ever know. There is a strange beauty in becoming someone who understands pain without allowing pain to become identity. You have been transforming slowly, almost invisibly, becoming gentler without becoming fragile and wiser without becoming cold. Archangel Michael says, the strength you search for outside yourself has already been practicing inside your spirit during every difficult season. What feels delayed is not wasted, and what feels quiet is not absent. Type light in the comments if you are moving forward one step at a time. The heart remembers things the mind tries to forget, storing unfinished feelings in hidden corners where they quietly shape ordinary moments. That is why certain songs still feel heavy and certain memories still visit unexpectedly, not because healing failed, but because healing often revisits places twice before leaving them behind. You have changed more than you realize. The version of you from years ago would barely recognize the resilience that now exists in your ordinary routines, in the way you continue showing up, in the way you still offer kindness after learning how painful life can become. People often speak about becoming stronger as though strength feels powerful while it happens. Most of the time it feels like surviving another day, washing dishes with tired hands, answering messages while carrying silent battles, and continuing responsibilities while your heart quietly rebuilds itself. The road ahead does not require perfection from you. It only asks for presence, for small acts of faith in yourself, for choosing tomorrow even when today felt unbearably long. Comment peace if your spirit is ready for lighter days. There were seasons when you waited for someone else to recognize your pain before giving yourself permission to heal. Eventually you discovered that self-compassion arrives when you stop requiring witnesses for wounds that were always real. You are allowed to outgrow versions of yourself that once protected you. Survival habits deserve gratitude for carrying you through difficult chapters, yet some armor becomes too heavy when peace finally begins knocking at the door. Your soul has spent years collecting fragments from disappointment, rejection, distance, and endings. Slowly those fragments have been turning into wisdom, creating a language inside you that understands both heartbreak and tenderness without needing to choose only one. The sky never rushes sunrise, and oceans never apologize for their tides. Growth follows similar rhythms, moving quietly beneath visible moments until one day people call sudden what was actually years in the making. Type 111 if you believe quiet growth still matters. Some burdens remained heavy because they were never yours to carry forever. Expectations from others, timelines borrowed from strangers, old guilt repeating itself like background noise, these things became extra weight inside an already tired spirit. You were not created only for productivity and performance. There is value in your laughter, your pauses, your unfinished projects, your slow mornings, and your moments of stillness that nobody else notices. When disappointment stayed longer than expected, it tried convincing you that life had forgotten your address. Yet hope kept leaving small signs along the way, tiny reminders hidden inside ordinary days, showing that meaning often hides inside repetition before revealing itself completely. My beloved child, gentleness toward yourself is not weakness disguised as comfort. It is wisdom learning how to speak kindly after years spent surviving harshly. Comment 777 if you are learning to be kinder to yourself. The world moves quickly, rewarding speed and celebrating endless motion, yet many sacred transformations happen slowly. Mountains change shape through patience, rivers carve stone through persistence, and hearts heal through countless invisible moments that rarely look impressive from the outside. You have spent enough time measuring your worth against timelines that were never designed for your journey. Comparison steals attention from the quiet miracles already unfolding within your own becoming. Some chapters ended without closure, leaving doors half open in your memory. Even unfinished endings can become teachers, showing what deserved protection, what deserved release, and what no longer deserves space inside your future. There is a softness returning to you now, not the softness of naivety, but the softness of someone who learned strength and still chose compassion. That kind of softness changes everything it touches. Type grace if you are welcoming softer seasons. The version of you that almost gave up deserves acknowledgement. That tired soul who kept moving while carrying disappointment, uncertainty, and invisible grief built bridges that your future self now walks across every day. Rest is not something you earn after exhaustion destroys you completely. Rest belongs beside effort, beside ambition, beside healing, becoming part of the rhythm that keeps your spirit from forgetting itself. You have spent years translating pain into silence because language sometimes felt too small for what existed inside you. Even now, certain feelings remain difficult to explain, yet your experiences remain valid without perfect words. Archangel Michael says, "There is dignity in continuing quietly when applause never arrived." There is beauty in rebuilding privately and allowing your transformation to belong to you before it belongs to the world. Comment strong if you survived seasons nobody understood. The future does not need a perfected version of you. It only needs the real one, the one still healing, still learning, still discovering that broken moments and beautiful moments often exist side by side. Every sunrise you witnessed after difficult nights became evidence of endurance. Every ordinary task completed while carrying emotional weight became proof that resilience rarely announces itself loudly. There are places within your heart still waiting for forgiveness, not because you failed, but because you remained human while moving through complicated seasons. Healing sometimes begins when judgment leaves the room and compassion finally stays. You are becoming someone whose peace no longer depends entirely on circumstances. That transformation takes time, and time has been working quietly in your favor more often than you realize. Type hope if you are still moving forward. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks. The quiet within you is changing now, becoming less like emptiness and more like space. Space for new routines, new thoughts, new joy, new memories that do not need to compete with old pain to exist. You are allowed to celebrate survival without minimizing how difficult survival was. Strength does not erase struggle, it simply proves that struggle did not have the final word. There will still be ordinary days ahead, imperfect days, slow days, days where progress feels invisible again. Even then, the truth remains unchanged, because everything meaningful inside you has been growing through repetition, patience, and quiet persistence. And when another silent night eventually arrives, when the world becomes still enough for old thoughts to return, may you remember this feeling inside your chest right now. Not certainty, not perfection, not endless confidence, but something quieter and stronger than all of them combined, the steady realization that despite everything, your light kept choosing to remain. The silence around you has witnessed versions of yourself that nobody else ever met. It watched you hold conversations inside your mind at impossible hours, watched you carry responsibilities while pretending your heart was not tired, watched you continue showing kindness even when your own spirit quietly needed shelter. There were mornings when getting out of bed felt less like routine and more like courage. Those mornings count, those unseen efforts matter, because survival is not measured only by dramatic victories but also by the ordinary moments where you chose movement instead of surrender. Time has a strange way of revealing what pain tries to hide. The heartbreaks that once looked like endings slowly become landmarks, not because they stopped hurting immediately, but because distance taught you that even sorrow changes shape when carried long enough. You spent years believing that being strong meant staying untouched. Now you understand something gentler and more honest, because real strength often looks like feeling everything deeply and continuing anyway. Comment 444 if you are still standing after difficult seasons. Some memories still arrive without invitation, carrying old emotions into present moments. Their presence does not mean you are moving backward, because healing often circles places twice, sometimes 3 times, until your heart finally learns the road by memory instead of fear. Your spirit remembers every version of you that fought quietly. The hopeful version, the exhausted version, the version that smiled through sadness, the version that almost stopped trying, all of them still exist inside you like old rooms in a familiar home. There is beauty in becoming unfamiliar with old pain. One day certain memories stop controlling entire evenings, certain names stop carrying weight, and certain fears stop feeling permanent. You are not behind life. Rivers reach oceans through winding paths, seasons arrive in different orders across different lands, and souls unfold according to rhythms that rarely match the clocks people worship. Type light if you are trusting your own timing. The world taught you to rush healing, rush success, rush joy, rush recovery. Your spirit quietly resisted, because some transformations need slowness the way roots need darkness before growth becomes visible. Every disappointment left fingerprints on your journey, yet none of them became your final identity. Pain visited, stayed longer than expected, rearranged parts of you, and eventually moved aside enough for new things to enter. There are still dreams inside you waiting for safer seasons. Not forgotten dreams, not impossible dreams, only dreams resting quietly until your heart has enough space to hold them again. My beloved child, you do not need to become someone else to deserve peace. You are already carrying enough wisdom from every season you survived, enough tenderness from every loss you endured, and enough courage from every morning you chose to begin again. Comment peace if you are creating space for new beginnings. The nights ahead will not always feel heavy. Some future evening will arrive unexpectedly soft, and you will notice yourself laughing without forcing it, resting without guilt, breathing without carrying the entire world inside your chest. There will be moments when old fears try returning with familiar voices. Their return does not mean they belong there, because growth often means recognizing old patterns without moving back into them. Your life has never been only about the chapters that hurt. There were quiet victories too, small kindnesses too, moments of beauty too, people who stayed, lessons that shaped you, and hidden joys that carried you farther than you realized. Archangel Michael says, "What is being rebuilt within you now is deeper than temporary emotions." Patience is strengthening foundations that rushed seasons could never create. Type 888 if you believe stronger days are forming quietly. You have carried invisible weight for so long that lightness sometimes feels unfamiliar. That unfamiliar feeling is not danger, sometimes it is simply peace arriving after years of noise. The future does not require you to forget your past. It asks something softer, allowing memories to exist without giving them complete control over the person you continue becoming. Your story was never ruined by delays, setbacks, detours, or difficult seasons. Stories become meaningful because people continue writing them after unexpected chapters. And tonight, if the silence returns again, allow it to become something different. Allow it to become a place where your tired spirit finally understands that surviving changed you, healing is changing you, and hope is still quietly building a home inside you.